Hello, everybody, and welcome to Geopolitical Trends, where truth matters. Very excited to be with you. It's because also I got a chance to have a conversation with you today. We're going to be talking about something sort of far away from geopolitics, but nonetheless, this will have a connection to what's going to be happening geopolitically, believe it or not. So, and I'm going to provide you some explanations on my own assessments as to where these things is going to be headed. And this has to do with the BYD electric car, the main Chinese producer that is now sitting on the top of the world of electric cars. So we're going to detail a little bit more about this. I just was reading yesterday an article and it just crossed my mind. It's like, why not? Let me gather my own information on all that. Spent a few hours putting the information together for you and decided to do it. So it's slightly different from what we usually do as far as strictly geopolitics. So let me see who's here first, then I'll jump into the conversation. Willie Holman, as always, good to see you from West Memphis. Hamad Sidi, thank you for being here from UK. Raj Popovich, oh, I like your comment, man. Here it is, guys. I'm going to share it with you right there. The next thing will be sanctions. If the Americans will have a security problem because of BYD. And you got a point, and I am going to detail something about that. Alan Seen, as always, from Ontario, Canada. Alba back from Canada as well. Good to see Canadian supporters here. John Smith, New Zealand. Good to see you. Nitro Gaming Dream, good to see you here as always. Taiwan Still, as always, good to see you here, guys. Very, very, very excited to have you. Pong Yang So, as always. John Smithens, good to see you. Dorcier from Chicago, good to see you, man. As always, very excited, guys, to see you. Phil from Ottawa, good to see you. Nassar, hi to you as well. So good to see you guys. Boone, as always, here it is. Boone from, let me share this here. Boone from country of foreign 360 degree minister. Good to see you, man. Siti Rohana from Indonesia. Speaking of Indonesia, I'll be talking about Indonesia here as well. Mushtaq Ahmed from California. Good to see you. Richie from Morocco. Good to see you as always. All right, guys, let's get into our topic here. That today I'm only going to be on this platform here. I guess it's safe to talk. So anyway, I'm going to be here. And today I'm already thinking about one particular topic. I didn't decide yet. That's why I don't want to say it yet. But I do have a good surprise for you because I promised you I will. I'm going to have a guest. It's Carl Za. So I'm working out the details for the timing because he's on the other side of the globe. So there's about literally a 12-hour difference between my location and his. So we're working out the details. But Karza will be here on the show within the next 48 hours or so. I will post this for you guys in the community. Be on the lookout. And the interview probably will be at about 8 p.m. my time because it's daytime the next day for him. So Karza will be here. I'm very excited because you guys been wanting to see Karza on the show. So here he's going to be coming and I'm very grateful to him for that. All right, guys, let's ask the basic question here. And the basic question, I don't know if even if I put it up for you guys I should, because I always put the questions there for you. Here's the question. Oh, I guess I didn't. So, but it's not a big deal because I can just save here and share it with you right there. So here are the questions on the screen, guys. Who and what behind the BYD success? Because this didn't happen in a vacuum, by the way. And no matter what you hear coming out of the West, or the Chinese government putting more money into this, and it's nonsense. I'm here to tell you based on what I found out yesterday. You will be shocked and surprised to find out who's also behind this. And I'm going to get into that. And this is why it's worth asking the question, who's behind the success? And what was behind it? How did this came to be? Second question is, what signal China's auto manufacturing is sending to the world, not just to the US, but the rest of the world. Because here's the thing, the EU now is very concerned about the Chinese electric cars. Why? The cost, of course. But there is something more into that. And this is what I'm going to get into the conversation as we move forward into this rather. And this is basically to go back to the point made by Rosh Popovich, because you got a point there. And I'll explain later on as I move forward. I saw a super sticker here from Anna Kiblis. Good to see you. Haven't seen you for a while. So very excited to have you here and hope all is well with you. So good to see you. And thank you very much for your super sticker. I take this opportunity to say hi to Army with Harmony. Of course, he's a channel members. Wong KC also. And also Khalid Sufaddin from Dubai. Wow, good to have you, Khalid. Good to have you here from Dubai. Wow, that's quite a distance from there, man. So good to have you here. All right, let's get into our conversation here because there is a lot to cover. But I'm going to do the headline for you because it's worth it as always. And the first one I'm going to start with is Indonesia. What's going on in Indonesia, guys? Can anybody tell me before I share the picture? I know my viewers from Indonesia, you know what I'm talking about. But let me see from the entire community on the chat box. What's going on in Indonesia? Let me see what's coming up. Oh, I'll be back. You got it. Elections. You got it. It's absolutely correct. It has to do with the elections, the upcoming one. But it is the interesting aspects that I found about this one here. This gentleman on the picture, that's Anis Mata, or Mata, M-A-T-T-A. You know, interesting. I found that about his background. He studied Arabic language, but he's also mastered the English language in addition to his. It's the same that what's his name? Prabowo Subianto. Subianto speaks about 3 or 4 languages, based on the record that I found that. So, well, what's interesting now about Anis Mata, who quickly rose to within the ranks of politics because his party was only established in 2019. It's brand new. So now the question is, will this gonna make a difference or not? And by the way, I was planning on doing an update for you about Indonesia. And the reason why, because you all remember a few months ago, when I challenged some articles coming out of the Australian National University, which to me was nothing but a lie. They were sort of penning out some articles trying to create a wedge within Indonesia. And the argument that those articles made was that, oh, Indonesia is going to be caught between the US and China, which is nothing but a lie. Indonesia knows which direction it needs to go. So it was no need for the Australian National University to be promoting that kind of narrative, which is misleading. And here is the shocking one that I found. And I confirmed it with people inside Australia, is that the Australian National University receives some of its funding from Washington. So you can see where the argument is going. And that's why I pushed back against those articles, because they were a lie. So whatever you read, whomever is writing about Indonesia coming out of Australia, be careful what you read. You guys, by now, you are, and I feel comfortable saying this, and I'm not saying it to be Mr. Nice. That's not me. If it weren't the case, I won't say it. You are now versed enough intellectually to be able to read between the lines. So when you read an article pertaining to geopolitics or international politics or global affairs, whatever, you will be able to distinguish between what's factual and what's misleading. Those articles that were coming out of Australian National University were misleading to create this kind of second thoughts in Indonesia. So that's why I found it very, very interesting. And that's why I had to push back against that, because it wasn't right for them to be misleading people. So I'm going to do a video for you guys about Indonesia moving forward. So next one, I found it interesting. What can you guys read into this? What it all means? Can anybody tell me in the chat box what it all means? Hi, Franny. Good to see you. Francis Tango. Good to see you. You're here finally. Francis Tango is always here. Truly appreciate you. What do you guys see? France leaving. That is correct. There is now voices coming through social media from politicians. Here is what's interesting. No one is coming forward publicly to disclose it. You know, those are demonstrators, because the politicians in the LAZ, the presidential passport, they're going to say, oh, they're just a bunch of demonstrators. Yet it's the politicians through social media that the one disclosing. So the landscape in France today may seem sort of like commerce, whatever, because the farmers, the tractors, you all remember, they shut down the national highways and all that. They have pulled out of the country main highways. But that doesn't mean the issue is over or the problem is solved. No. Anger remains over faint embers that could flare up at any moment. And this is what you're seeing, the picture of that. So now what you have, because what it was basically, it was the farmers' revolution. I feel comfortable saying the term revolution. France is known for this. You look at the French Revolution that took place, and we all know the history for that. So now you have a number of activists and politicians. Funny how I found it very, very interesting. When Western media make a report about something like this, the wording of it will be diluted. It will be like the water version of it, soft. But when you read it in a native language, not from politicians, it has a different wording to it. So what I found, and I translate this one here because I speak French also, it says that the number of activists and politicians are still circulating on social media in France with the hashtag Brexit on a large scale. And this is, of course, in a reference to the demand for France to exit from the European Union, considering that their country exit from the Union will be the best and perhaps the only solution to the benefits of the economy, whether in the field of agriculture or otherwise. This is what I found very interesting. And again, like I argued last time in the last video about the BRICS overtaking the EU, I had to do that for a reason. And you all know, guys, by now, when I put certain titles, when I put certain images, when I say something, it's for a reason. That was my reason for why I decided to do the video on that, even though I did it a few months ago in a different setting. Now the voices are coming up. The EU within a decade, and I'm being very generous here because I wanted to be on the conservative side as far as the time frame. But this is only if, and a big if, BRICS gets its act together internally, because now it's growing. You can have fractures inside BRICS. You can have divisions inside BRICS. Otherwise, it will be hollow inside. Here's the frame, but it's hollow. But now you're seeing the reaction of the France, because this is not about farmers anymore. They want France out of the EU. The same if the right, the far right, the politicians, if they win the elections, guess what was the first thing they wanted to do? Can anybody, I don't know if you guys are familiar with what's going on with the French politics, but they did state something publicly on the record. Can anybody type in what was it? What the French right said they will do if they win the elections? Yes, Alamsine, Marie Le Pen. What did she say? One of the first order of business. Can anybody just share that if you know it? So Let me see. I know it takes a while to show up here. Uh, you got it, Boone. You got it. Is to quit NATO. That's what she said. And she will follow through with it. Of course, it's going to be pushed back, not just by some politicians inside France, but also from the US. That is one of the key. And this is what I want you guys to understand. This is why I wanted to do the headlines within the big picture. The last one I share with you has to do with the financial aspect. And I could see it. My phone is used here. So otherwise I'll share it with you. This one has to do with the Bitcoin. Believe it or not, I just saw my investments on the Bitcoin. It went up. It went up to double digit. I'll share it with you guys. Why? It's because I'm seeing where this is going. But what attracts my attention to all this, and this one has to do with, now listen carefully. And I'm not a financial advisor, guys. I'm not telling you what to do, because I'm not qualified. I'm not certified for that stuff. I'm doing this because I have access to individuals who truly knows about this, and they kind of advise me where to go. So here is the thing. The cryptocurrency, now the prices have jumped. That's what I just found out 20 minutes ago, literally before I came on the show here. On the trading, that now driven by an increased expectations of the rate, that is interest rate, to be cut later on in second half of 2024. Why is that? It's because the data in the US shows that inflation is going up. Yeah. Average Americans have no idea. They have no clue what's going on. Till, as I always say, it's going to hit them like a hammer. So, and this is where the regulations of the Bitcoin trading market in the United States, those two goes hand in hand. But nonetheless, that's not the point. The point in this is the market cap, the market capitalization of the cryptocurrency, which, by the way, the government is pushing against the narrative. You know what the market cap has increased to? 4% in the last 24 hours. That means what? It reached $1.9 trillion. And this is according to the coin market cap data, and I checked it. That is not a small change. So you can just see what the government will be thinking, because what is our problem? Our problem is we print so much money. Printing so much money, what does it do to your currency? It's devalue it. Crypto is a different story altogether, because the government doesn't have access to that. Nobody does. And that is why I wanted to share this with you. And again, I'm not advocating for what I can tell you as an advice, no more, no less, because I'm doing it. What I can tell you is, do not leave all your cash in a bank. That will be suicide economically for you. Do not. Get your money out of the bank, leave some, and the other cash, whatever, you're not going to just let it sit home. Invest it in hard assets, whatever you feel comfortable with. So there's what I wanted to share with you today. So, all right, guys, let's get into our topic. Tesla, BYD, and Tesla, of course. But now the picture is very different from what it was back then, about when Elon Musk, well, let's just say it straightforward. We're not going to sugarcoat this kind of stuff. When he was laughing sarcastically at the products of Chinese electric car maker BYD. As a matter of fact, and I checked it, and I have the link, and I will post it for you guys. As a matter of fact, I found out, and I confirmed it, is that, what's his name? Elon Musk refused to consider any electric car as a threat from China, as a threat to his company. No more. That's why I put in the description. Who's laughing now? I found it very, very interesting. It was one of our viewers from the community put an interesting comment, and I'm gonna get to it right here just to see if I can pull it out and share it with you. because I found it very, very interesting and spot on. It was right. It was right. Let me see the comments for it, and I'll share it with you guys. Uh, Very, very, very interesting. I hope I can find it quickly. I should have saved it, but I didn't. The bottom line, yeah, right here, right here. It's by Chan Wan. I can't pronounce that. Anyway, let's move on. It says, and I quote, "Don't ever laugh at Asian people because they will turn negative into positive. That is how we are. We Asians love the challenge." End of quote. Spot on, spot on, and I couldn't agree more. And basically, to me, when I read this the first time, as far as Elon Musk laughing at why would you laugh? Why would you laugh sarcastically? That means you are trying to put down another race, another ethnic people, another people for that matter. Why? Why don't you be encouraging and said, good luck to you. We wish you well. You know what I mean? That's why that comment made sense to me. And again, I do believe, especially when it comes down to negative, positive energy and so forth. And this is why I like for our community here, it's all about positive thinking, guys. This is what important to me. And I am sure it might be important. I can't speak for you guys. This is why I push back against sometimes when I see something that doesn't make any sense. So, and this is why I didn't understand why Elon Musk. So now, as I put in the description, who's laughing? When you have now BYD sits on the top globally when it comes down to electric cars. So I'm going to be sharing a few pictures with you and also some highlights. And for those who are not familiar with the topic, I traced this back to 2011. It was an article at that time at Bloomberg because it was an interview. After the Elon Musk did the interview on TV, Bloomberg wrote an article about it. And this is when back then the Tesla CEO, which is Elon Musk, the American billionaire, laughed sarcastically at the China's product. Why? Because BYD at that time was just getting started. Of course, it's not going to be at the top. That's why I found it ludicrous that coming from him, Elon Musk, to be laughing, understanding how the business is. And the information I found here, I got to give credit to Mohammed Sanjleh, is the one who wrote the article here. And I'll put the link for you guys. Very detailed. I read it in its entirety. I'm going to share some quotes from it. Spot on some. As I said, 2011, that's when the article started back then. It's because the CEO kind of refused to consider BYD as a threat to his company. So, and this is what Elon Musk said, according to the article, and I quote, "Have you seen their cars? I don't think it's attractive. The technology isn't very powerful, and they have serious problems in their home country, China. And I think their focus should be on addressing those problems back home." End of quote. This is what Elon Musk said back then. He added, and I quote, and this is according to the article by Mohammed Sanjleh. Elon Musk added, saying, and I quote, "They have to make sure they don't die in China first before they dream of competing with Tesla." End of quote. So where are we now? Ask yourself, and this is, guys, a common. It's basic. You have a car that is $75,000. This is Tesla. You have a BYD that is $28,000 to $30,000. I do not know the exact number for the BYD. If anybody knows, please put in that number on the chat box for everybody to know. But let's just go with those numbers. I know for a fact how much Tesla costs in the US because I live here. So which one would you buy? It's no brainer. Now, that's beside the question of whether you have money, you have extra money or not, whether you want a status or not. It's beside the point. I'm talking about pragmatism here. Would you spend $75,000 on a car, or would you spend 28 to 30 and invest the rest? The answer is clear, guys. And this is what I'm trying to highlight to you, the idea of what Elon Musk was thinking back then and now where things are. Because even the EU right now, the European Union, are very concerned that their cars ain't going to compete with the Chinese. Because the cost. I was very familiar with a particular case regarding the Huawei, the phone back then, because I was still in Washington, because the work was on it at the time. And the decision was made in DC that we're going to block any sale of Huawei phones right here in the US. And we're going to give the rationale for it is the spying. That was the argument. Of course, I digged into this. What did I find? I found out that the cost of that phone produced by China was about $128 versus Apple phone, the iPhone, which was here at the time, it was iPhone 4 or something like that. It was about $400, $500. And the decision was made by the US government, pushed by Apple behind the scenes, to block Huawei from getting it. These same arguments can be made about BYD. I don't see any difference. As a matter of fact, it became clear now. It's the cost that is the driving factor. Of course, the quality of it also. Because BYD is not going to put some car that is very sort of not going to perform well. Because here's the thing, what I found out today as I was searching some information. I found out that an electric car in San Francisco was burned on its own because it's self-driving. So let me show you. I'll share the link, not the link, rather the picture, so you see it with your own eyes. And again, it wasn't the article wasn't here. I had to translate it. So here is the link, guys. And to me, it's the double standard. You know, this is what bugged me or bothered me about Elon Musk laughing. Well, wait a minute. Didn't you think down the road that the Chinese could, master that technology? Look no further what we're seeing right now with their Beidou GPS. Whoever thought, right? Here, guys, take a look here. I'm not going to play the video, the clip, rather. I just want to show you. And this one, right, it says, burning of Waymo's self-driving car renew fears of its use. And this one was in San Francisco. That's a taxi struck in the street in San Francisco. San Francisco has renewed concern about the safety and security of the increasingly self-driving taxis, according to Reuters. So it's just the idea of it. That's what I'm saying. To me, it's the double standard. I never like double standards. So just because it's the Chinese making it, it's going to be horrible and bad. Turns out not to be the case. Same argument, same case, or same thing I was going to say about the International Space Station, the ISS. We blocked Chinese from accessing the astronaut. What did China end up doing? End up building their own. We were thinking, there is no way they're going to do that. Within a year and a half to 2 years, that station was complete. Now China has its own. It's the same arguments I can make about chips, which I'd be happy to do a video about it down the road. We made the same argument. We're going to sanction the Chinese by preventing the chips or whatever. It ended up backfiring on us. We are not going to build a chip factory here because we don't have the brain for it. There's a tweet out there by, what's his name? Michio Kaku. He's the string theory physicist. Very, very smart guy. And you know his background. He's an American, but of Japanese descent. Goes way back from Asian culture. And his argument was the success of the US has nothing to do with its weapons and all that. We have nothing. The success of the US is the H-1 visa. You all know what a H-1 visa is, right? Does anybody know what this is? Let me type it for you guys. H-1 H1 visa. Yeah, that's right there. H, oh, an H1, I'm sorry, H1 visa. Basically, we giving visa to the brains of individuals in other countries to come over here. Now we see in the working visa. That is correct, Karakulak. You're absolutely correct. So we giving them the visa to come here because their brain. Now, what we are seeing in the US is the reversal. We have seen a brain here, or brain drain that is going on in the US. Chinese scientists are going back. I came across an article actually in MIT of a Chinese scientist who's been targeted because of his ethnicity. He's like, I've had it. And I believe in. An FBI conducted an investigation on a Chinese scientist, accusing him of espionage. Come on, you can't do that. Treat them for their brain, not because of the way they look or their ethnicity. That's not right. And this is my point. My point for this, why Elon Musk was laughing, you couldn't think down the road that they're gonna sort of master that technology and become very successful in it. And here we are. You look at the markets right now, how they are. And this is where, and that's why I'm like, no. This can be. And this is why I wanted to do the video for you guys, because I want you to see the truth. Here is another image of a Chinese vehicle that is. Even the governor of California, some idiot too, another idiot. He wants to buy not only one, but I think 2 or 3, one for his wife, whatever. Well, if you are to say the Chinese cars are bad, why are you buying it? It's because the cost. Yeah, governor, he can afford it because they are all corrupted anyway. But that's not my point. My point is that they succeed. The Chinese have succeeded into this right now. This is why I found it very interesting to address this topic for you. Before I'll get deeper into, because today it's just we're gonna do this on this platform here. I need to give a little bit of geography about China and a little bit of history. Yeah, I use the term a little bit because I can't cover the whole thing for China in such a short time. So, but like we keep the tradition or the ritual, that is, we always do the little bit of geography and a little bit of history. So let me share the screen. And by the way, I give credit to World Atlas. That's where I get the picture of the Chinese map. I get it from, and I give them credit for that one. So here is the map. This is China. Now, and again, I'm going to do this very, very brief, guys. So just for you to know, to those who might not know, and I don't assume everybody knows. No, we are all learning here. So China is an East Asian country situated in the northern and eastern hemispheres of the earth. China shares its borders with 14. By the way, guys, I saw another record that says 15 countries. For now, I'm going to go with the 14s because those are the one in front of me. Now, the maps can be politically manipulated. You all know what I mean by that, right? And you all know why they said 15. Can anybody tell me why? Because this is a tricky one. Why some record saying 15? But usually it's 14. I found it very, very interesting how they can manipulate you got it, Al-Kobi. You got it. Because of that, because of Taiwan. So the record I'm going to share with you is the one I am familiar with because I started writing my book about China. So I'm going to go with the record that I know and I am familiar with and confirmed. And it's confirmed to me with 14. So the countries are Mongolia to the north, okay, Russia and North Korea to the northeast, Vietnam, Laos, Myanmar, India, Bhutan, and Nepal to the south, Pakistan in the southwest, Afghanistan, Tajikistan, Kyrgyzstan, and Kazakhstan in the west. China is also bounded by the Yellow Sea and the East China Sea in the east and the South China Sea in the southeast. So where is Taiwan into this? Because you and I know the truth and the reality when it comes down to Taiwan. Taiwan is part of China. Let's not sort of create something out of nothing. That's the record that I am familiar with, and I start putting it in my upcoming book about China. So now let me get into a little bit of history of China, because you need, and again, a very, 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 very brief, because if I am to go, I have to go back some 1.7 million years ago. Yeah, oh, we don't have time to do it. It's long, plus it will be too long. It's just so I'm not doing that. So what I can share with you is let me share a picture, because I need to show you one picture here, and I give credit to the history. Those the one they own the right to that book. Yeah, Travel History Guide. That picture belongs to them. That's where it comes from. And this is the scene of the what's his name? That's the emperor throne in the forbidden city of Beijing. That's what it says on the picture. So what's important about that is to understand that China, one of the countries, in my opinion, and even historians agree with me on this, sort of not agree with me, but confirm this one, that China can boast about itself as an ancient civilization, and it has a long and mysterious history. We all know it's about 5,000 years of it. You can marginalize, you can manipulate that, you can cut corners into that history. 5,000 years history. I remember having a conversation with Dr. Ken Hammond. You all know who he is. He's a historian by training. He has his PhD in history, specifically about China in a certain century, specifically. That's his background. And if there is anything I need to confirm, I usually reach out to Dr. Hammond, because he's someone I trust. So, what it says here, like most other great civilizations, and there are others, of course, of the world, China can trace its culture back to a blend of small original tribes, which have expanded till they became the great country it is today. It is recorded that Yuan Mu, I hope I pronounce it correctly. Let me type the name, spell the name for you guys. If anybody knows how to pronounce this, it will be great if you can help with this one here. I typed it for you guys there. Yuan Mu man is the oldest hominoid in China, and the oldest dynasty is Xia dynasty, XIA. From the long history of China, there emerged many eminent people that have contributed a lot to the development of the whole country and to the enrichment of its history. Among them, there are emperors like Li Changmin, Emperor Jian Taizong of the Tang, philosophers like Confucius, great patriotic poets like Q Wan, and so on. There are many of them. And my apologies if I mispronounce the name. I don't speak Chinese, and if you guys can help with the pronunciation phonetically, that will be great. Chinese society has progressed through 5 major stages. This is what I want you guys to understand. This is where the Western narrative about the history of China gets manipulated. And that is the reason why I wanted to do this. The 5 stages are primitive society, slave society, feudal society, semi-feudal and semi-colonial society, and socialist society. The rise and fall of the great dynasties forms a thread that runs through Chinese history almost from the beginning, since the founding of the People's Republic of China, the PRC. I know there are those who in the West using CCP. There are those who using the PRC, whatever term you want to use. For me personally, and as I put it in my draft in the book, I'm referring to it as the PRC since it's founded in October What year was it, guys? What year the founding of PRC was? I want you guys to type this in the chat box. And again, just for us to learn a little bit of history, can you guys type in what year was it? Oh, Boone, thank you so much for your super sticker. Let me share it here on the screen. Can't wait for the geohistory analysis on China. Yeah, I did that. I start writing one. So I might share a clip with you guys. Why not? What year, guys? You got it. I'll be back. Francis Tango, Alamseen, Boone, YT, Jean Hon. Hope I pronounce it correctly. Hamad City, you guys got it. 1949. That's exactly when it was established. And this is the importance of it because, again, there are those narratives in the West that gets a little bit manipulated. This is why, again, when you read something, please take a step back. Don't conclude right away. Counter that or fact check that with another source. So to continue, since the founding of PRC, October 1st, 1949, China has become a socialist society and became stronger and stronger. And the history goes on. I will provide you the link because the one I found goes back to, believe it or not, prehistoric time. And again, I won't have enough time to share all this with you. But what I'm going to do something special for you guys. And believe it or not, you're the first one to know. I'm going to share a blurb or a short paragraph from my upcoming book. It's not finalized yet. I still have a long way to go, and there is reason for that. I have my reasons for not wanting to publish the book soon. So, but I am going to share. Let me get a paragraph from what I wrote, and we just go from there. Okay, let's start with this. Writing this book, and I gave it a title, which not finalized anyway. I put China in the New Global Order, or is the 21st century belongs to China? So, or I have another title, China Managing the New Global Order. Whatever, I'll decide on the title later on. So, anyway, it became imperative to me after completing my Russia book, The Dynamics of Russia's Geopolitics Remaking the Global Order, and observing the ever-changing geopolitical landscape following the Russian Federation military intervention in Ukraine. Similarly, the increasing tensions between the United States and China convinced me of the need to place China's global engagement within the context of the shifting geopolitical landscape Beijing is influencing one way or another. For example, because I have a lot of this. I had one specific one that I wanted to share with you here. Let me get to that paragraph because that deals with China specifically here. China's global, and here is the part of that my draft for the book, China book. I wrote China's global strategy and foreign policy poses serious challenges to subsequent American administration as pundits, scholars, experts on foreign affairs wonder what will become of U.S.-China relations. The lack of debates about China within the Washington establishments alarms me. The focus is on ratcheting up tensions and rhetoric instead of coming up with a strategy that focuses on having a mutual dialogue where the economic interests and security concerns of both countries, China and the United States, are discussed. What lies ahead for U.S.-China relations concern me greatly. Similarly, since the end of the Cold War, the U.S. government has suffered from precipitous decline in expertise, prestige, and talent to acquire a better understanding of a civilization with a long and rich cultural and military history spanning over 5 millennia. Gone are the Mao Zedong era, after which China embarked on a course of reform that Deng Xiaoping has called New Revolution. What we witnessed was a change in the direction, one that moved China rapidly from ideological inflexibility towards wide-ranging pragmatism, from extreme totalitarianism towards liberalized authoritarianism, from a command economy towards a market socialism, and from autocratic isolationism towards international interdependence. These trends, in my opinion, are what paved the way for China's new role on the global stage. Make no mistake, and let us acknowledge it, China's rise did not happen in a vacuum. It required a long-term strategy, a vision that mandates setting up realistic goals and fiscal discipline to see it through. The West finds it hard to accept that a country could develop in such a short period, about 30 to 35 years, to become a global force economically, militarily, and technologically, one that could eventually set the tone for the new global order melody. That's what it is. So you are the first to hear this, guys. So, and I'm happy to share it with the community because I want to share that with you. So, all right, let me get into, as I said, for the history, guys, I will put the link for you and all this, and we'll just go from there. So, all right, let's get into BYD. What is BYD, first of all? What does it stand for? Can anybody type in? For those who do not know, it is worth knowing. When I learned about it, it made perfect sense to me. Can you guys type in the chat box what this BYD stands for? Most in the West have no clue. Oh, Boone, thank you again, man, for your super sticker. Truly appreciate it. Thanks for sharing it, Dr. Holistic View. Indeed. And that's just that's a half page of what I shared with you. So, and again, because I have to present the arguments the way I see it. And there is a reason also why I'm not rushing into this. I have a specific reason, and that reason requires patience, and I have my reasons for it. So, and by the way, I didn't make a decision whether to publish it with an American publisher or not, and most likely I won't. FYI, when I was working on the Russian book, Harvard approached me for that. I don't trust. So I might even look for a publisher inside China if they're willing to publish it. Of course, the translated and all that stuff. So we'll see. All right, let me see. Oh, thank you, Barry. Yeah, let me see what you guys wrote. BYD. Oh, you got it. Inzo H. You got it. The Iranian Putin. You got it. YA. You got it. Al-Babak. You got it. Hamad City. You all got it. BYD. Yeah. Build your dream. And to me, if I would have heard this one the first time, I said, I'm not going to laugh. What I'm going to do is I'm going to ask, I wonder, what dreams is he talking about? What kind of dreams? That's what I will be asking myself. Now it makes perfect sense to me. So, and this is what I want to get into that here, guys. So, well, first, let us talk about the history of the founder himself, Mr. Wang Changfu. I hope I pronounce it correctly. Wang Changfu, let me share a picture with you because I got two pictures of his. You can just see it's very, how sometimes you can look at people, you can see that positive energy radiating out of them. There is no nastiness, there is no negative, there is no, somebody you can look at and say to yourself, I can deal with this guy. I can work with this guy. I can communicate with this guy. That's my impression. Again, that's me. But let's talk about his history. Who is he? Wang was born in Wui County in Anhui. I can't, once again, I'm going to type in this for you guys. And please, if you know phonetically how to pronounce this, I would like you guys to share it with here, I'm typing it for you. This is where he was born. Anhui province, to a family of poor farmers. While in high school, he was cared for by his elder brother and sister because his parents passed away. After high school, he studied metallurgical, that's the physical study chemistry of metals. What this, they even have, I found a word for it in Chinese, which I can't pronounce because I don't speak the language. It is the word for it in Chinese, guys. To those who speak the language, you know. Uh, 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 where did he study this? He studied at the Central South Industrial University. That was known at that time. Currently, it is known as the Central South University. And he graduated in 1987. After that, he went on to earn a master's degree in 1990 from Beijing Non-Ferrous Metal General Research Institute. That's where it was known. So he spent several years as a government-sponsored researcher, which means what? The government sponsored his research. That's to me a smart move. Smart move out of the Chinese government. Because they saw the potential. Why would you? Because a university in the West will give him a scholarship and fly him over to the West. China's government saw the potential and offered to support that. To me, that's what a responsible government does. Now, I'm not saying they handed him money. No, he worked his butt off for it. And you admire that tenacity, that determination, that drive, the will to be where he is at. And here he is. So in 1995, he left the government and entered the private sector and founded his company BYD. So, and where was it founded? It was outside Xinjiang. Xinjiang, I hope I pronounced it correctly. And founded the company with his cousin Liu Zhengyang when he was 29 years old. BYD company is currently the world's largest mobile phone batteries. And here is what is interesting, guys. In early 2009, he was reportedly worth about $3.4 billion, placing him 408th on the Huron Report of Global Rich list in 2014. He was number 408 richest man in the world. But in late 2009, his net worth grew to about $5.9 billion and was crowned as China's richest man on the Huron Report. This was due largely to a five-fold increase in his company, which was, here is the key that I need you to know, which was valued after Berkshire Hathaway bought about 225 million new shares in 2008. That is what I did not know. Meaning what? What's his name? Warren Buffett. He's the head of Berkshire Hathaway. Went ahead and saw the potential for something that Elon Musk was laughing at, and went ahead and bought 225 million shares in it. Provided the capital, the company moved up. Makes you question and wonder why Warren Buffett didn't put that money on Tesla. Maybe he did later, maybe not. I don't know. But to me, it's the vision. That's what led me to thinking to that. There's another picture of what's his name? Wang, Mr. Wang Chuan-Fu. So in November 2021, Forbes magazine, which is lists the billionaires in the world, reported that Wang's wealth has increased to $23.5 billion, making him the number 14 richest person in China. And this was due to twofold increase in BYD shares price over the previous year. So, and this is why I found it very interesting that now, if you know where to look for information, you'll come across certain information that suggests how. Now, even Elon Musk, forget about him. Because now you're going to have to think about the new Chinese billionaire that has dethroned, and I'll use the term, dethroned Tesla with BYD 2022 electric car sales and was backed by Warren Buffett. That's, to me, it was very, very interesting. And I will, I will share those links with you for you to have an idea of, because you need to be aware of how this came. It didn't happen in a vacuum. So, all right, let's get into the modest capital that they started with. So, of course, for BYD, it started in 1995 when Chinese chemist Wang Guanfu founded the company. And I'm not here to repeat that history except to talk about the amount of money they started with. Well, what they started with? He started with a 2.5 million Chinese yuan, the equivalency of $351,000 at that time, and had only 20 employees. That's it. 1996, the small company began manufacturing lithium-ion batteries. That's how he moved slowly. And the first sign of success for this company, the first sign of success for the company was that BYD contracted with two largest mobile phone manufacturers at that time. Does anybody know who these two major mobile phone manufacturers? Remember, we're going back to 1996, towards the end of that decade. Can anybody type in which two? And one of them was very famous. They were known for their cell phone. Let me see if you guys know which one I'm talking about. Oh, you got it. Retro Gaming Dream. You got it. It was Nokia. What is the other one? It also was famous at that time. Francis Tango. You guys got it. Nokia and Motorola. You're absolutely correct, because in that decade, those two were the leading into this the cell phone batteries and so forth. You're absolutely correct, guys. And what happened in 2000? That's when the startup began supplying its batteries to those companies. Meaning, BYD started providing the batteries to those two companies. In 2002, BYD was listed on the Hong Kong Stock Exchange, riding the wave of its success in the lithium-ion battery industry. And that paved the way for the dawn of the company in 2003, when it acquired a small car manufacturer called Sichuan Automobile. Let me share this with you guys on the screen. I'm sorry, on the chat box for you guys to know if I mispronounce it, so you know which one I'm referring to here. Sichuan Automobile. And 2 years later, it launched its first car under the name F3, a fossil fuel car. And the history moved on from that. So fast forward to what is the secret to its success. So there's a lot of stuff. That's why I said, guys, its success didn't happen in a vacuum. And this is, once again, and I am not beating the dead horse here. I am just questioning the logic and rationale of Elon Musk when laughing sarcastically at something that could potentially turn for the better. Why? How could he not see that? If we are to think, well, Elon Musk, genius, whatever, yeah, more power to him. But to me, he was looking at the end of his nose, as they say in French, for those who speak French. Il faut jamais regarder le bout du nez. Don't ever look at the end of your nose. You need to look very far. That's what surprised me about Elon Musk. I'm laughing at that. Look where they are today. And that's, you're seeing the examples of where China is the electric cars are moving forward. So the success or secret to its success, one of the key, you know what it is the blade battery. Is the one of the secrets, there's not just one, there's more, but there are other factors behind this amazing success of the Chinese company, perhaps the most important of which are vertical integration. Vertical integration. Do you guys understand? Those in the world of business, do you guys understand what is a vertical integration? And basically, you all know if you do. So the vertical integration was crucial to the company's success. And basically what it is just, instead of relying on outside companies to obtain spare parts, the components and the parts needed for the car were provided from within, which makes perfect sense. So why would you want to go ahead and spend a large amount of money? This is exactly when I did the video for you guys about China's airplane, the C919. If you recall, I don't know if you remember or not, the title that I put, how now it's the era of Boeing is over. And for one reason and one reason only. China, it's not going to be depending on parts from Boeing. They're going to build their own, and they build their own. Is the same arguments I made for the C919 is the same arguments can be made about BYD as to its success. And this is why this approach helped the company to produce relatively cheap cars compared to the cars of other companies, including Tesla, which used to buy many systems, components, and spare parts needed by its cars from the companies, which contributed to the rising of their prices. Now you see, here is where I'm going to get into. Now you see why when President Xi was in the US, when he went to California, who did he met with? Do you guys remember? Who did he met with? Beside our, you all know, he met with the, yes, you got it, Boone. He met with the big wigs of the companies. Tesla was one of them. It's because they were concerned. They wanted to figure out how we can maintain access to the Chinese market. You cannot do without access to Chinese market. I've been arguing this for years. And there are those who've been commenting that I am promoting the Chinese market. What the heck? It's common sense. No matter how you slice it, you can't ignore the sheer size of the Chinese economy. Its market is important. The same thing for China. American markets is important. This is why China has one advantage over us. If these tensions keep promoting, all China needs to do is cut off economically and be done with. You all know what's going to happen to us if we do, or if China does. And that is one of the arguments why I believe Tesla or Elon Musk didn't see too far. And that's what led to the success of where the company is. And this is why, as I said earlier, are you going to buy a $75,000 car, or are you going to buy a $28,000 to $30,000 car? Choice is clear. So now this BYD, sort of after taking over the United States, South Korea, Germany itself, yeah, they are taking over. China is now competing with Japan for global leadership in automobile exports. And here is where geopolitics comes in. Now we're talking about auto industry, right? Yes, to a degree for the conversation, but you have to think very far, because the dominance in this domain is going to pave the way for others, paving other domains, that is, paving the way for other domains. That's how you ascend into the global supremacy. Global supremacy will allow you to navigate and direct the global order the direction that suits your strategic interests. This is why we are doing what we're doing as far as the sanctioning of the chips. It didn't work. banning the Chinese astronauts in the ISS. It didn't work. Even GPS, even internet, even whatever, Chinese building their own. Why? Because we were thinking, oh, they can't do it. They don't have the technology they don't have. Wasn't that the argument for the chips that they moved from building the last one I checked was about the 5 nanometer, or I think even 4. They have not mastered the 3 nano yet. Will I be surprised? No. I won't be surprised within the next 8 months, 6 months or so, we'll be hearing that China developed the 3 nano. And if they do, forget about any components from overseas. Build their own. And this is why, for us, we embarked on the sanctions of the chips, not understanding the impact of it. We don't have the infrastructure here. We don't have the brain power for it. Chinese scientists are leaving the US and going back. Even some of us are now considering teaching overseas, whether in China or somewhere else, because the system, it's going down. So when you hear arguments, because here is the arguments you're going to be hearing a lot. Oh, the BYD is receiving support from the Chinese government. So what? It's their country. If the government wants to step in to help, why not? It's going to benefit all the Chinese people because they can afford a car at 28, but not 75,000. And this is what happened with an article, and I came across it last time on a Wall Street Journal. And you all know why it was worded this way. It says, reported that, and I quote, BYD has received significant help from the Chinese government during its career. So what? So is our defense contractors. So what makes the case bad for China but good for us? Elon Musk himself, how did he get the funding from? The government. Department of Defense writing billions of contracts for his Starlinks, whatever. No. So, what you need to get out of all this is that BYD should be looked at as a lesson for entrepreneurs. If you are an entrepreneur in spirit and in mind, use this as a lesson. And that's where, to me personally, when I found that, I didn't know before, I'll admit it. When I found out what that BYD stands for, made perfect sense to me. So this is where I see the difference here. Yeah, that's something we couldn't understand. It's because we had a hard time accepting this reality that a Chinese company is overtaking the electric market. Now, that's beside the point whether electric cars are good, bad, whatever. I am not arguing that because it's not my place to. I don't have an. I have a semi. One of the cars. It's a hybrid. So my other car is a regular car, diesel, gas, whatever. So will I go? As a matter of fact, the trucks in the U.S., the automobile industry in the U.S. that's making trucks. They're making the electric trucks. They're just sitting at the lots. They're giving even a discount up to $7,000. Nobody's buying them. Nobody's buying them. So, and this is what I'm saying. Again, what I want you to get out of this is to learn a lesson from it. And this is for us all. You have to think outside the box. Think outside the box. There are potentials within you. You just never tapped into them. All of us have that. Till you start listening, you listen to your inner voice. Start listening carefully. Spend time quietly. No noise, nothing. Just listen to your inner voice. And you never know what might come up. Ain't going to happen overnight. Let's be realistic here. But if you just listen, you never know. Kate Stone, you're right. $90,000 for truck. I checked on one, not for me. I don't drive trucks. $85,000. Who the heck will buy? Why? And you can't even fix them. I have one of my old cars now that I fixed myself. Just yesterday, I got tired in front of a computer after doing the research for this, and I want a break. So I went to the garage, got the car out, and went ahead and replaced my whole assembly for the turn signal. My turn signal wasn't canceling when I turned right. So I figure out you learn how to do it, tear the stuff apart, take it out, put it in, and put it back. It took me 2.5 hours, saved myself about $500. So yeah, why will I want? Because there's new cars now. They're all like made in certain ways that you can't fix them yourself. So why would you want to buy 90,000? And this is where the arguments coming out of the likes of Elon Musk that's saying, laughing at the car, oh, that they can keep dreaming, whatever. Well, now who's laughing? Who is laughing? The reality. And I'm not surprised. This is why I have to wait for the book about China. There is a reason for it. And that wait could take about 1.5 years to 2. So I have some reasons for that. So anyway, guys, let me take some questions from you. I'm working on it. By the way, to remind you, I will have Carl Za on the show here for an interview. It will be fascinating. I will post the info for you once I finalize the timing, because the time zones and all that. And I hope some of you might not be able to join me because of the timing, but it will be there. But if you could, that will be great if you could join me on that. So I want to say thanks. Let me say thank you to those who have been supporting the channel. By the way, I got my first donation through PayPal from Mir Akbar in Australia. Yeah, all the way from down under. I'm very grateful. And here is the link to the PayPal. I set it up now for the donation for the Asia trip, in addition to the other link on Buy Me Coffee. Should you decide to either support, donate for the Asia trip, either through PayPal or through Buy Me Coffee for the link that, and I'll share the link with you later on. Let me hold on. Let me share it with you here, and I'll say thank you to some new members and so forth, and we just go from there. Here is the link to copy link to PayPal. Should you guys decide to donate for the Asia trip, and I'm gonna post right here on the screen the link to the other two on Buy Me Coffee. The top one is for the channel. The second one is for where it says Truth Matters. That's for the Asia trip. Thank you all for your support. You all know the type of information. Some idiot, I'm going to use the term idiot, put a comment. You need to say straightforward to people, they pay for your trip. How stupid one will argue like that. And he said, if you couldn't get paid for this, then go get a job. What an idiot. You know, I hope individuals like that unsubscribe from the channel, because we don't have a place for this kind of mindset. That's somebody who is inherently negative and nasty. Simple and that. And when you are inherently negative, I don't want to deal with you. So anyway, those are the links, guys, for the support if you want to support the channel and the trip to Asia. Some of you already been putting donations for that, and I'm going to share the screen with you to show you where we are. But first, I need to go to the membership on the Buy Me Coffee, and I want to give a shout out to, this is a long one. It's called the JHA or JHaha Lift Hook. Thank you so much for becoming a member on Buy Me Coffee. I truly appreciate you for doing that. And I appreciate your message you wrote. So, and that stays private because it was sent to me. So no, till I have the permission, you all know how it is. Also want to give a shout out to Georgelia Jones. I know I did this before, but I still want to say thank you. American Citizen X, Davis Harris, Tots, Smaron C, Harold UI. And thank you all for paying you, East Bloom, St. Derlands. Thank you all for your support for the channel. and for becoming a member as well. Of course, it goes without saying that I have to say thank you to the all the those who buys me coffee on a regular basis. From let me get to the link here. Dashboard. Okay, now it's not going. I don't know why. That'll work out. Let me get to it right here quickly. Gmail, and it's because some of you guys literally, and I mean it, on a daily basis now, they are but and here is someone is doing it as we speak right now. Let me log in into this one here because I want to give a shout out to this individual here. Now all of a sudden my computer is not going. Funny how when you need it to access something, it doesn't work. It says log in. Okay, let's log in. Here we go. Log in with my. I mean, I know who this person is. This is Osiris Gray on a daily basis. And he put, and I share with you, good morning, Dr. O, Dr. David, live and let live. And I know it's Osiris the Great. He's always doing this one. For some other reason, guys, I can't log in to buy me coffee. So I'm going to hold off on sharing the screen with you till next time. So let me take a question or two from you guys, and I'm going to sign off after that one. So if there is one question or two from you. And thank you all for your continued support. All right. Let's see. I truly enjoy being with you guys here on the community. It's a learning process. John Julia Jones, you wrote, thank you all for your hard work from Colorado. You're most welcome. You're most welcome. And I mean it when I say I truly enjoy being here with you. Lucio Delgado. Yeah, Carl will be here. And I look forward to it. I know I've been trying for so long. He's busy also. He has his life and all that. But it was so kind of him to, when I reached out to him via Twitter, he really reached out right away and said, sure. I'm very grateful. I am going to reach out to Lynn or Lian, to her as well. So, and we'll be happy to show up on her channel as well. So. Okay, question. Okay, let me see here. Question: do you think electric cars make sense in Canada's cold weather? I am not versed into this stuff. What I can share with you is no, we won't. Here is my thing, or the reason why. When we had the snow here in Texas, believe it or not, it snows here sometimes. It was some really freeze, major one. California was hit with that as well. And it was about 1.5 miles long of Teslas waiting to access the station so they can charge up their vehicles. So basically, it's useless if you couldn't, or if the grid goes down or whatever. Your electric car will be useless. Let's say hypothetically there is a breakdown in a city and you need to get out. You all know how the city is going to be. Everybody wants to get out. Well, what if the grid is down? So given how Canada is, and I lived in Canada, and I know how cold it gets there, yeah, you'll have to think twice about having a car. You have to. So it's one of those hard questions. So, okay, let me see another question. Muslim revert. Yeah, ditch car. I'm with you on that. You know why? Because if I had a speed train here in the US, I won't drive to other cities. You know, it takes almost a day or 2.5 to get from New York to LA. But we don't have speed train because the lobbyists are not allowing it. So the airline industry can benefit from that. And those lobbyists for the airline industry. And Americans are clueless. They are clueless because a speed train will take about a max of 12 hours, a fraction of the cost, but they won't allow it. They won't build it. Yeah, if we had that, I'll ditch the car. Why not? Transportation, we use it. Yeah, or walk. That's true, except long distances. So that is where the difference is. All right, let me see. One last question. Hong Wong. And by the way, before I forget, I want to say thank you to Hedy Luquel for last time. Put a sticker to the last minute, and I was logged off, but I saw it after. So thank you, Luquel. Truly appreciate it. Question from Hong Wong. Dr. O, will the US under Trump, Biden, or third party allow Chinese EVs enter the country? No, they won't. They did the same thing for the cell phone. Yeah, they're not going to do it. They're going to create some issues, be they in tariffs, they're going to create something. This is one of the topics I'm going to address with Carl when he gets here. Because if you only know what's going on right now, as far as what the US is doing, maybe I'll do a video for you about the logistic hubs the US is establishing in Asia right now as we speak, including some special ops. So we'll see, but yeah, under any, because President of the United States is just a figurehead, no more, no less. So the answer is yes. They will prevent the entry of any Chinese car into the US market, because they know if American people found out the cost, they'll ditch Tesla. Once again, common sense. What would you want to buy Tesla for? So, Iranian Putin, thank you so much for your super sticker. Truly appreciate it. Thank you so much. And you wrote, thank you, Dr. O. You're most welcome. You're most welcome. Carmel Crash, good to see you as always. Here he is, Osiris. Thank you for your buy me coffee, Osiris. Every day, man. I'll acknowledge this to everybody every day. So I run out of thank you words, but nonetheless, I'm very grateful, and I do not take it for granted. I want you to know that, Osiris, and I'll pay it forward one way or another. You wrote, U.S. doesn't have infrastructure of batteries. Yeah, we don't have the brain capacity either. We don't. So that's unfortunate. All right, guys, I'm going to sign off, and I need to go work on something else, and I will see you soon, tomorrow. So I'll be working on something for you guys. As always, I hope you find this very informative. Remember, this is the links to support the channel and support the trip. There is also the PayPal, because now it's up and running. Should you decide for PayPal, that would be also great if you could. And I look forward to seeing you next time. As always, remember, geopolitics impacts your daily life in more ways than one. Till next time, guys. Bye-bye.